Good evening. You're watching the News at 6 with me, Ishan Russell. The News at 6 is all about the day's biggest developing stories, and we'll be filling in on them over the next half hour. But first, the headlines that we're tracking right now. Provocation ahead of NSA-level talks. India to go ahead with consultations despite Pakistan's invite to Kashmiri separatists. FTII students arrested in Pune. FIR lodged against 15 after the institute director lodges police complaint for allegedly detaining him on Monday. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley seeks debate on Rajya Sabha's role in making new laws. The Congress seeks apology for remarks, rejects call to redefine the role of the House. And First Lady Shubhra Mukherjee cremated in the national capital. Vice President Mohammad Ahmed Ansari leads dignitaries in paying tributes. A top story this evening in what seemed to be a deliberate attempt to provoke India. The Pakistan High Commission invited Kashmiri separatists for talks with its national security advisor in Delhi. India, however, said it will not call off the NSA talks. However, the opposition as well as some BJP leaders said that the NSA talks shouldn't be held if Pakistan did not stop its ceasefire violations.
Pakistan testing the Indian government's resolve for an Indo-Pakistan dialogue. Its High Commission in Delhi inviting the Kashmiri separatists for consultations with Sartaj Aziz. Ahead of the National Security Advisor level talks, an action replay of the same events that provoked India to cancel Foreign Secretary level talks with Pakistan last year.
Whenever India has reached out to Pakistan like they have done in UFA, the NSA level talks have been known that there will be NSA level talks. So the Pakistani deep state, and I just won't say that only the army, but there are other elements in the deep state who do not want these talks to succeed. Fortunately, India is still sticking to its stand that the talks will go on, irrespective of the provocations on the line of control. And I think it's the right step because, after all, where would you otherwise talk to Pakistan on terror?
Although angered by the invite, the government said the NSA-level talks between India and Pakistan will take place despite the invitation. News agency PTI also quoted unnamed sources saying that the government will respond appropriately.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी का एक बहुत दिनों से एक पोजीशन रहा है जिसमें हम कहा करते थे कि आतंकवाद और बातचीत दोनों साथ साथ नहीं चल सकते हैं। वर्तमान जो नेशनल सिक्योरिटी एडवाइजर हैं इनका भी यही मत होता था। प्रधानमंत्री जी ने स्वयं कहा था कि अगर गोलाबारी होती होगी और बंदूक की गोली चलती होगी तो उस आवाज में दूसरी आवाज कैसे सुनाई देगी।
As soon as this government assumed office, we were all told during the election campaign that this is a 56-inch, 56-inch की छाती है, and they will act strongly. But what we are seeing is a complete vacillation and a ding-dong without any perspective on how the Indo-Pak relations have to develop or what is the government's roadmap or a vision.
Questioning Pakistan's commitment to the peace talks, the Congress questioned the Modi government on its policy towards Pakistan and terrorism.
The fundamental question is that why does India want to talk to Pakistan? What do they expect out of the NSA level talks? Does India want sugar from Pakistan? Do they want textiles from Pakistan? Do they want other commodities from Pakistan? And the answer is no. All that we want is that terror should stop. And therefore, after what happened in Gurdaspur, what happened in Udhampur, and the continuous firing across the line of control, as well as the international border, makes out a very strong case for calling off the NSA level talks.
The Pakistan High Commission extended invitations to chairmen of both factions of the Hurriyat Conference on Tuesday. National Security Advisor A.K. Dawal is slated to meet Aziz in New Delhi for talks on terrorism-related issues for the first time on August 23rd. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now to our focus story for this evening. In a late-night development, a police crackdown at the Film and Television Institute of India in Pune ended with the arrest of 5 students. The 5 were sent to 14 days judicial custody before being granted bail. The arrests were made on the complaint of the institute's director, Prashant Patrabe.
A Bollywood-style crackdown in the dead of night ended with police arresting 5 students of the Film and Television Institute of India in Pune. The students have been arrested for unlawful assembly, rioting and criminal intimidation. An FIR has been lodged against 15. The action came after the institute's director Prashant Patrabe lodged a complaint against them for detaining him in the campus and vandalizing office property on Monday.
Tonight you're seeing at this hour we're getting arrested. So this is the way the government answers peaceful protests. I think it's a very unfortunate black day in the history of India. Our students were recording the entire proceedings inside. Anybody can watch it. Your channel can watch it right now. It was extremely peaceful, very cordial.
They formed chains to forcefully block me. I was tortured using interrogation techniques, verbal assault, including asking the same question and continuously threatening me to take my decision back. They also indulge in extremely disrespectful and insulting behavior, which I have mentioned to the police.
In the middle of the night, so many students are being taken into the custody. It's most unfortunate thing that can happen in any educational institution, and we are here to find out what is the solution for it. It is not the time to blame this way or that way.
While the government has defended the police action, opposition parties have come out in support of the students. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal tweeted their support, condemning the post-midnight arrests.
Allowing police to enter educational institutions and conducting these sort of raids, it only happened during emergency. And that is something that we cannot accept.
जिस तरह से एफटीआई के बच्चों को रात को अरेस्ट किया है, ऐसे जैसे कि कोई टेररिस्ट हो, रात को छापा मार के उन लोगों को अरेस्ट किया, हम इसकी भरपूर निंदा करते हैं.
These were issues of the institute's rules and regulations, like the students who were from 2008 batch had not completed the projects. And on these, the students had get out the director, and FIR had been filed and law had taken its course. Why should politicians politicize such issue?
The government has now constituted a 3-member team headed by the Registrar of Newspapers in India, SM Khan, to assess the ground situation at the institute in Pune. Students have been at loggerheads with the government for over 2 months now over the appointment of TV actor Gajendra Chauhan as chairman. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And one of India's best-known filmmakers, National Award winner Shyam Benegal now joins us, and he's spoken out against what has happened at the Film and Television Institute of India. And it's been some months now, Mr. Benegal, and there seems to be no end in sight. And it's really damaging, especially for the students who are studying right now over there for their future.
You see, it's a very simple thing. If the students have been unhappy with the choice of the chairman designate, then they should meet him. You know, they should at least have a meeting and to find out whether their unhappiness is one that is only imagined or whether it is real. Because his credentials were questioned for one thing. But nobody ever thought whether the person is capable or not. We don't know. Nobody knows whether he is capable or not. And the students who should be concerned should ask him, should meet him, and have this instead of suddenly going on strike. There's no need to go on strike for such for matters like this. That is number one. Number two, the more important than this is the fact that, you see, the problem that the students might have in the institution, they have any problems with the management and so on and so forth, they can have a direct interface with the director and the faculty. But they are concerned with those people in their everyday, when they're there as students. They hardly ever meet the chairperson because the chairperson is there for usually in a year just for 6 meetings. 2 meetings of the society, 4 meetings of the council, and if he is invited to the academic council, he might be there. So, I don't understand why so much hue and cry about the chairman. Now, in this case, as far as the chairman is concerned, they are questioning his credentials. But my own point is that, credentials don't necessarily make the person. Capability does. They should check whether he has the capability or not.
All right, DC,
because nobody knows whether he has the capability or not.
All right, fair point. The fact that the students also took an extreme step, but given the fact that it's almost a police crackdown that happened last night, students getting arrested over there, and there was no outward violence as such as we saw in the pictures that we've broadcast as well. So do you think the issue has now become too political for it to get resolved anyhow? It's become bigger than the students, and the students perhaps made a mistake by going to political parties because Arvind Kejriwal, Rahul Gandhi, everybody's voiced their opinion on this particular matter.
There are 2 points here. One, of course, I'll come to the involvement of political leaders. But before that, the fact is that the institution should not have called the police. That was a terrible mistake. There was no reason to call the police, because calling the police automatically means that you're bringing in a third party. And that institution has been there for over 50 years, and I was the chairman twice. And there was an occasion when I was gherraud for the entire night. I was gherraud. After which, of course, I sat with the students and I said, look, I want to meet the entire student body, and which we did. And then they put every single question, they put every single fear that they had to me. I answered many of them. Students went back to the classes. We sorted out the matter like that. There was no need to call anybody from the outside. I think this should not have happened. The police should never have been called, and the police should have taking 5 students into custody was again something that was very unfortunate. It's very distressing. It's very disturbing. It's not a good trend at all. I mean, without question, I have no ambivalence in saying this. The police should not have been invited into the
All right. All right, we'll leave it over there, Mr. Benegal, for now. But thank you very much for coming in and sharing your perspective as far as this entire logjam, as far as the FTII goes, the students protesting against the chairperson that has been appointed, Gajendra Chauhan, and that logjam has been on for some months now. Let's see when this impasse will end. But Mr. Benegal, thank you very much for coming in and helping us understand this a little better. Now, the other focus story for this evening, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has once again raised the issue of the Rajya Sabha's role in the process of making new laws. Pointing to the frequent disruptions in the upper house, he sought a debate over the issue. The opposition Congress, however, has come down heavily on him, seeking an apology over the remarks.
In a democracy, to what extent can an indirectly elected house obstruct the decisions of a directly elected house?
A week after a washed-out monsoon session, the Finance Minister has once again raked up the issue of Rajya Sabha's role in the process of making new laws. Frequent disruptions have stalled key reform bills that include the one on GST, aimed to transform the country's tax structure. Jaitley now seeks a debate to find a solution to the problem.
Time has come for us to find out the constitutional or at least as a matter of precedent, a conventional answer to this problem. Otherwise, a large number of steps which are extremely important would get struck.
Congress, which was at the forefront of protests during the monsoon session, has criticized the Finance Minister and sought an apology from him. The party has also rejected any call for redefining the role of the upper house.
He is a leader of the Rajya Sabha, and he should retract this statement and apologize. We will not, under any circumstances, allow any redefining of the Constitution and of the Parliament of India.
Meanwhile, constitutional experts have also pointed out some ways mentioned in the Constitution to deal with the situation if the government fails to get a bill cleared in the upper house.
अगर राज्यसभा में मेजॉरिटी नहीं है तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एक तरीका बताता है, वो है अगर राज्यसभा कोई बिल रिजेक्ट करता है या कोई अमेंडमेंट रिजेक्ट करता है तो जॉइंट सेशन दोनों हाउसेस के जॉइंट सिटिंग हो और उसमें पास हो जाए. ये तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में लिखा हुआ है, ये तो रास्ता खुला है.
Finance Minister had raised the same issue in a blog after the budget session this year. However, Congress had filed a breach of privilege motion against him. With Ravindra Shauran, Vishal Dahiya, Rajya Sabha TV, Delhi.
And let's go across to our correspondent Vishal Daya, who brought us that story. Vishal, the finance minister certainly thinking of out-of-the-box solutions in terms of getting Parliament back on track. But this is an issue that is really bothering the government. The fact that a number of key legislations, part of its economic agenda, the reform agenda that it talks about, depends on those legislations. And the Rajya Sabha is where it does not have the numbers to muscle its way.
Well, yes, you're right, Ishan. And in fact, this is not the first time, as I was saying in my report. In fact, these statements were made by the finance minister in a blog just after the budget session as well. Though in budget session, the government did get the support from the opposition, except a few bills which they had to convert into money bills and then bring to the upper house. But this time around, the statements which are being made by the finance minister, who is also the leader of the house in the upper house, that's Rajya Sabha, in a way sort of indicate the anguish of the government, or rather, the mood of the government at not being able to pursue the agenda of economic reforms, which is on its topmost priority. And to say, as we are saying in the story as well, GST bill, one of the bills which government time and again says that it is a bill which was introduced by the UPA government. Now that we are bringing it to try and move it through and get it on from 1st of April 2016. It's the Congress itself which is now opposing it. So there are a number of other issues as well. What is at the center of this debate, which the finance minister himself pointed out, is the role of the upper house as to how that can be managed. If the government of the day, and let's not talk about only this government, the governments before this government as well, the parties which have been in power, and the parties which will be coming to power after this government as well. That's what the finance minister is indicating, that in such a situation, what can be the solution? This is a particular situation which might repeat itself, which can come back again to haunt the future government. So let's talk about, let's debate, let's find a solution. But this is something which seems to have once again, aided the Congress to a greater extent, something which is not acceptable to the Congress. That's why we have seen those heavily critical statements coming in from Anand Sharma, his colleague in the upper house.
All right, Vishal, we'll leave it over there. Vishal Daya will keep a track of all those political developments as the government and the opposition trade fisticuffs. Well, now moving on, a disproportionate assets case has been filed against former Telecom Minister A. Rajya and 16 others. The country's premier investigating agency, the CBI, is also conducting searches at 20 places in Delhi, Chennai, Perambalur, Tiruchirappalli and Coimbatore. Rajya is already facing trial for his role in the grant of licenses and allocation of 2G spectrum. The scam unearthed in 2008 amounted to 1.76 lakh crore rupees. That was the notional loss that was estimated by the CAG. Now, Rajya has been alleged to be the mastermind of the 2G scam and is believed to have acquired these disproportionate assets through the companies and individuals that acted as his front. Let's get you some more news from around the country and nationwide. Builders Gopal and Sushil Ansal have been spared jail for the fire that killed 60 people in a cinema hall owned by them, the Upar Cinema Hall. The Supreme Court has instead fined them 60 crore rupees. The Upar tragedy occurred when in 1997 the cinema hall turned into a death trap as it went up in flames. The Ansals were found guilty of criminal negligence as all exit routes were blocked to install more seats. Former Chief Minister of Goa, Digambar Kamath, has been granted anticipatory bail in connection with the Louis Berger bribery case. Kamath has been asked to furnish a surety of 1 lakh rupees. The court also asked the Congress leader not to tamper with evidence and cooperate with the crime branch as and when summoned. Samajwadi Party Chief Mulayam Singh Yadav has triggered a row with his remarks on rape, where he said that it was not possible for 4 men to sexually assault the same woman. Yadav made the comments at an official event in Lucknow on Tuesday. Comments drew flack from several quarters, with activists criticizing his insensitivity towards women. Punjab Chief Minister Prakash Singh Badal has expressed deep shock and anguish over the death of 7 Sikh pilgrims in a landslide in Kullu. Badal also announced an ex gratia of 1 lakh rupees each to the next of kin of the deceased and 25,000 for those seriously wounded. The incident happened when a giant rock boulder hit the Manikaran Sahib Gurdwara complex. Now, the last rites of First Lady Shubha Mukherjee were performed in New Delhi today. Family, friends and top dignitaries paid their tribute on the occasion. Most of the people who attended the funeral, amongst those people who attended the funeral, were Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, his Bangladeshi counterparts Sheikh Hasina, Congress President Sonia Gandhi, and Delhi's Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. The First Lady was admitted to hospital on the 7th of August after she complained of breathlessness and discomfort. She passed away on Tuesday at the age of 74. Well, time for us to take a very quick break right now. Coming up on the other side, the Thai police have released the sketch of the main suspect of the Monday blast in central Bangkok. More on that on the other side. Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. Now, the Thai police today released the sketch of the main suspect of the Monday Russia blast that killed at least 22 people. Authorities say that the man could have had accomplices. However, there's still no clarity on the nationality of the suspect and whether he's still in Thailand.
Barely 36 hours after a bomb blast ripped through this area in central Bangkok, the Erawan Shrine reopened this morning, with monks chanting prayers for departed souls. Telltale signs of the blast are still visible, even on the golden statue of God Brahma. The police have a clearer picture of the suspect from the CCTV footage.
แน่นอนนะครับผมเชื่อว่าต้องมีคนไทยเป็นคนไทยแต่ผมไม่ได้บอกว่าคนไทยไปร่วมกับชาวต่างชาตินะแต่ผมบอกว่าเป็นกระบวนการนะครับเป็นกระบวนการก็ใครก็แล้วแต่ที่เข้าไปที่ศาลพระพรหมในห้วงเวลานั้นหรือก่อนห้วงเวลานั้นเราจะมีการตรวจสอบ
No one has still claimed responsibility for the bombing, but according to the police, the bomber was part of a network. As police intensified their search for the accomplices, they offered a reward of 1 million baht for information about the bomber. Meanwhile, the Thai police feel a second failed attack on Tuesday was linked to the Monday blast. The same sort of pipe bomb was thrown towards a busy river pier, but it exploded in the water.
ปัจจุบันสถานการณ์ในภาพรวมถือว่าอยู่ในความเรียบร้อยประชาชนสามารถใช้ชีวิตและประกอบอาชีพได้ตามปกติกองกำลังรักษาความสงบเรียบร้อยยังคงตั้งจุดตรวจจุดสกัดและจัดชุดสายตรวจโดยเจ้าหน้าที่ตำรวจและก็ทหารที่ประจำอยู่ในพื้นที่ต่างๆ
Thai police on Wednesday continued to identify bodies of the bomb attack victims, while families who were brought in for the identification process grieved over their losses. Monday evening's attack at the popular Erawan Shrine in the heart of Bangkok killed 22 people and injured more than 120. Nearly half of the people killed were foreigners. The Thai Prime Minister on Tuesday said that the attack was possibly to undermine the country's economy or tourism. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, Ranil Wickremesinghe will be sworn in as Sri Lanka's new Prime Minister on Thursday. He returned to the office after a 4-month term after his party won the closely contested general election. Taking a dig at former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, Wickremesinghe vowed that there would be no room for divisive politics under his leadership.
A day after the United National Party swept the polls, Ranil Wickremesinghe struck a reconciliatory note, urging all to form a national unity government. On lines with his poll agenda, he assured that his party would not allow divisive forces to derail the country's progress. His statements are viewed as a direct target on rival and former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, who made an unsuccessful bid for a political comeback.
We can achieve unity, progress in this country if we work together even for 2 to 3 years. For the sake of the people, and that they have indicated their preference, let's work this together. I don't think anyone can opt out or can they go back to the divisive politics. We will not allow that.
Although his party fell tantalizingly short of a parliamentary majority, Wickremesinghe is certain that he can count on President Sirisena's supporters to back him in the parliament and push ahead with the reforms.
We look forward, and together with the President and all party leaders, we will be looking forward to having a new era of politics and of government in this country.
Wickramasinghe said he would soon meet the leader to discuss the next government's formation and policies, which would be presented to the parliament when it convenes on 1st of September. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Islamic State militants allegedly beheaded one of Syria's most prominent scholars. Syrian state media reported that 81-year-old Khalid al-Assad was beheaded on Tuesday in the square in the ancient town of Palmyra. His body was later hung from a Roman column. Considered a pioneer in Syrian archaeology in the 20th century, Assad was in charge of Palmyra's archaeological site for 4 decades until 2003. ISIS captured the UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Palmyra city, in May this year. Well, that's all from us. Goodbye.